Hey, my name is Spencer Beals, and I'm a storyteller. The part about art that has always interested me the most was sort of getting into these little characters and fleshing out little worlds for them to exist within. And I feel like I have a certain level of responsibility to do this because every time I draw a little character, I really sincerely think of them as sentient beings, and I have an obligation to sort of create these worlds for them and to allow them to fully experience in full color, and to have adventures, and to have a life outside of me once I finish them. And this idea of being able to build these worlds and to enjoy making them has been the most important part of my life. Up till this point, I've always had those stories be contained within one page. So an exciting part about this whole process and the show Love Notes coming together is it comes from an attempt to complete a full picture book and publish it, and have these stories that are going on within each page connect to 30 or 40 other ones and create this entire world that I can dive into and zoom into parts of it that are interesting, and to allow the story to take place not with words but by sort of shifting from one perspective to the next, and to tell this story as a series of zooming in on parts of the story and the direction I want to take it, and then make an entirely new world, further fleshing out sort of the edge of the previous one. And this idea of an infinite zoom and sort of being able to go into these characters' heads and then to cast spells that allow them to teleport into their friend's head. And it just feels like this amazing magic. And all of these pieces, so 10 of the larger pieces in the show will ultimately be published into the book Love Notes at a later date. And a huge goal going into this was to have every page be a finished piece, to the point where I could have a show and every single page in the book is a standalone piece with a whole world that you can sort of dive into. So I guess one thing that was important to me was that even if you didn't have access to the entire narrative, even if you just had one image, it was going to be a full world in itself. It was going to have detail and places for you to explore and to find imagination within. And so when I'm making these pieces, they're primarily watercolor paintings. And then I'm using colored pencil and marker in order to pop certain areas with more saturation. And some of them contain a lot of line work with pen, whereas others it's just watercolor and colored pencil. And that's been also a process in this of how to use the pen and then allow for spaces where there's this deeper atmospheric perspective, and it blends more into a naturalistic painting with the watercolor and the colored pencil. Some of them began with an idea in terms of where the story was going, but other times I just allow myself the freedom to sort of dive into areas of curiosity. And a huge source of research for this entire book has been trying to develop as a naturalist. So I've been attending earth skills classes, and I just finished up a 6-week tree class where I learned with this really awesome teacher just learning the local ecology more and deepening myself into that world. And so when I'm out in the woods and I'm connecting with plants and I have my nature journal on me and I'm pulling up bark and I'm seeing these weird meandering termite marks, I take a piece of that bark, I bring it back into the studio, and sure enough, in this show there's a piece of bark peeled up and you can see those same woozling, doodling, sort of the meandering creak as the termite bites through wood. And having those moments where I'm going in and I'm camping, and I'm finding these moments that are exciting to me, and I'm bringing them back, and I'm synthesizing them within my studio. And I'm trying to get back to that same curiosity as a kid when me and my brother would be picking up rocks and being astounded by these crazy creatures that were underneath them. And I sort of want my paintings to have that same effect, like you're a kid pulling up a rock and, oh my gosh, and then what is that? And sort of going deeper into them. And if you're willing to sort of look deeper, I always want there to be places for your eye to explore and to deepen your relationship with the piece. And the details have always been what I love most. I love being tunneled right up in there in the work, a couple inches away doing it, and then stepping back and being like, whoa, and then trying to fix it as a whole piece. But that experience of really getting lost in the tunnel vision has been such a gift, and a real place where I find meaning in my life. And so there's the 10 pieces, the larger pieces that are in the show Love Notes that are ultimately going to go in the book. And then there's 5 of these smaller pieces that were also included that were a way to sort of do research and to sort of work in relationship to the main narrative that was going on, but also give me an opportunity to experiment with other parts of the pieces that weren't necessarily where the narrative of the book was going, but places where I was interested in. And all of those were painted and drawn outside. So I was bringing those directly into the field, and they are a direct result of sort of field research and a way to just deepen the book and have the parts of the book that are exciting me have a place to explore them more deeply. And all of this is coming from my education at the Maryland Institute College of Art. So I went to MICA, I majored in general fine arts, and I minored in sustainability. And I'd say since graduating, especially with this show, that is totally what it is it's taking the sustainability aspect and a deeper awareness for the ecology and a desire to learn about the ecology, and then bringing it back in multiple mediums, and just continuing to develop as a storyteller. I'm really excited to share this body of work, and I'm really excited that this is my first time trying to do a book all the way through, so I'm going through the hiccups, and I already know for the next one things I would do differently. But just the entire process, and it is a long process, of trying to complete this project and seeing this show as a huge place where I can showcase so much of that work I've been doing, and to just enjoy the pieces as individual artworks as opposed to caught up in this larger narrative. And I used to be an intern at Gallery Blue Door, so it's exciting to get a chance to showcase my work after hanging a bunch of shows and pouring wine for people's openings. It's super exciting to get a chance to go to this gallery that I have a long relationship with and I deeply love, and to get to share my work with the community there. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Come say hi.